from Sydney, Australia. We are on day 2 of Sydney. Yesterday was kind of just more of a recover from a jet lag day. We met up with Sean's friend Colin and we explored Sydney a little bit, but we did go to bed early. This is our Airbnb, super cute. Say hi, Sean. And look at these beautiful windows. It is an absolutely gorgeous view out here and super cool that we can just walk right out, stick our heads out and see all the cool things in Sydney. There's also a super bougie shower. This was a super good find. If you ever need a place to stay in Sydney, I highly recommend this one. Today we're heading to the Opera House. Sean already got a coffee. We're heading to the Opera House, we're doing a tour, and then we are gonna go to an opera tonight, which is super exciting. We have never been to an opera before, so we'll see what that's like. We are heading to the ferry to find breakfast this morning. It is winter in Sydney, and that's kind of a change of pace for us because it's been like 100 degrees in Oklahoma for the past, I don't know, couple weeks. But it's like mid 60s-ish here during the day.
It's nice.
It is really nice actually, and it's dead winter right now, so if this is winter, like, I can take that. That's pretty good. Tour of the Sydney Opera House was very interesting. I'm really glad that we did it because we were considering not doing it since we were going to the Opera House for an opera later, but I was like, no, we should get the tour and get like the background of it, and I'm really glad we did it because there was a lot of interesting like tidbits about it that I wouldn't have known.
I think what I was shocked about the most is that the construction of the building, one was left up to a contest, which there were 220 entries. The one that won, which was the original design, was originally rejected by 3 of the 4 judges. The 4th judge basically showed up late and was like, no, I want to look at everything, and saw number 218, which was in the reject pile, and was like, this is it, this is the one, we have to do this one, and managed to convince everybody else. So there's a lot of history associated with it. The way that Sydney set out to intentionally create something that iconic is really incredible.
Yeah, and I think it's beautiful how they have designed the building based off so much of the harbor and the surrounding area that it's supposed to look like the sails on the sailboat, and it's very fitting for the city that it is. I also really liked the nod to the Aboriginals that were first there. That area was traditionally used for eating, singing, sharing stories, dancing, all that kind of stuff, and that's what they do today still there at the Opera House. So I love that there is like that connection to the original use for the land in the beginning.
So we're both really excited. We've done the tour, so we know a little bit more about the history and the design, and so it's a really incredible building. But neither one of us have ever seen an opera, so that's here in a few hours. We're actually going to go back and we're going to have dinner and actually see like a real opera. At the Opera House. So we've got the opera coming up tonight, and then tomorrow, which is day 3 of our trip, we have a little bit more of a relaxed day. We can just kind of do whatever we want. We'll probably go venture out, have breakfast again somewhere, but we're going to go visit the zoo tomorrow, and then tomorrow night we're actually doing dinner at what's called Sky Feast at Sydney Tower, which is basically a restaurant at the top of the tower there that actually slowly rotates, so you get a nice view of the city, and we're going to do that right around sunset, so we'll get hopefully some nice sunset views as our last day here in Sydney. See it all a different way. Slow down, you got what you need, and the world's at your feet. Summer days, summer nights, lose it all, close your eyes. It's okay, waste your time. I don't mind, I don't mind.
we made it to Melbourne, let's see, 2 days ago. We flew from Sydney to here, and then we picked up our rental car, which was our first time driving on the other side of the road. And I'm very glad that Sean is here to do it for me, because I was a little bit panicked about it, but he handled it like a champ. He's all good to go. He figured it out very quickly.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yesterday, we just kind of chilled here in the Airbnb. It was like a pretty relaxing day. We watched the US soccer game and watched them lose, but that was okay. And then we drove down to the penguin parade, which was literally the cutest thing I have ever seen in my life. We weren't allowed to take any pictures or videos, unfortunately, so I don't have anything, but I will show some of like the stock images they provide for people, because they didn't want you to take photos in case your flash went off, because it would scare the penguins.
It was pretty fun watching you react to things, because I don't think you had any expectation of what that was going to be, or how many penguins there were, or how they show up, or how big they are, or anything.
Yeah.
So like when that first wave kind of just like showed up like on the beach, you were just like, oh my god. And then like watching them like waddle by and like these little clusters it was like watching
so adorable.
It was like watching a kid at Christmas, honestly. Like your eyes were just so big and so like just happy.
We got to like go underground, and they had built kind of like a little pit and a little window where you could literally just like at eye level watch them like waddle by. They were so cute. I loved it so much.
The night before we got there, the board said that they showed up a little later, but they had about 1,200 or so penguins, which right now is kind of like their low season. Yeah. Not as many of them are coming in because it's the middle of winter here, although I say winter lightly, like it's still like 50 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I think they updated the board when we left, so I think there were about 900 or so penguins last night, so a few less than there were before. But obviously that can range a lot higher, especially during the summer when it's a little warmer and there's a little bit more penguins coming back on shore and things like that. But it's still an amazing experience and a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, 100% recommend you should do this if you ever come to Melbourne. Like, first stop, Penguin Parade. So cute. Our Airbnb is kind of tiny, but it's perfect for us because it's just the two of us. We're just chilling here. It's a great base point for us. So if you need a small place in Melbourne, this would be a really great place to grab.
I think today we're gonna have another kind of like an easy day. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain in the morning, so I think we're actually gonna go to the 12 Apostles tomorrow, which is a rock formation that's on the southern coast. So we're gonna do that tomorrow, but today we'll probably just kind of explore Melbourne.
Rainy days don't seem so wet, stormy nights don't stay. From the moment that we met, you were worth the wait. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know. Talk for hours and never slept. Two silhouettes on the concrete steps. We watched the sun as it slowly crept from the horizon to the place we met. Oh, this could be the best thing that I'll ever know.
Good morning from the rainforest. I'm sitting out on the porch of this amazing Airbnb this morning talking to you guys. Well, let me tell you, this is probably the coolest place I have ever stayed in my life. Check out this view. When I say this is an immersive rainforest place to stay at, like, I truly mean it. The first night Sean and I were here, it just poured rain, and we opened the sliding glass doors, left the screen doors closed, and just listened to the rain all night, and it was so peaceful and relaxing. Also, the shower and the bathtub are awesome. I definitely made use of that last night. It was nice to just sit out on the porch, listen to all the rainforest sounds. Even though it was dark outside, like, it was incredibly relaxing. 10 out of 10, recommend staying here if you ever get the chance. It is truly just the coolest thing ever. Like, you're just chilling out here in the rainforest, like, it can't get better than that. Yesterday we took a rainforest tour of the Daintree Rainforest, and that was so fun. It kind of encompassed all the things that you would do in a rainforest. We got to drive along the coastline, swim in a freshwater river in the nearby area, and even just walk through the rainforest. Yesterday was so fun because it just felt like we got to do all of the rainforest things, which was great for us because we're really here for just such a short time, and we kind of packed everything in on one day. We're going to do a little bit more exploring today, but we do have to get ready for tomorrow because we are jumping on our live aboard dive cruise, and we are so excited about that. So let's go explore, shall we?
Why she smiled.
Here we are, last full day that we have here to kind of explore and relax before we start our trek home. We just got back from a 3-day live aboard dive excursion, which that was a crazy experience. We saw a ton of cool things, but the first 24 hours for me was incredibly difficult. There was a lot of adjustments to make to what was going on, and I probably wasn't as prepared for it as I should have been. When we first started going out, there was terrible choppy surface conditions on the water, and everybody got seasick. Sean threw up.
Yep.
I managed to not throw up, but because I didn't feel good after that, it lasted a really long time for me, and it took until the next day, and like Sean asked another dude if I could like borrow some seasick medication, and then like finally it went away.
90% of the people that were on the boat, not the staff, obviously they're used to it, but probably like 90% of the customers that were on the boat, like everybody was on the back of the boat and just not feeling well.
Yeah.
But once we got out there, it calmed down a little bit, and then, you know, obviously getting in the water, a lot of that motion kind of goes away, especially once you go down and you kind of get in the water, and everything kind of calmed down a little bit, and you know, it was good to finally get out there. I was certainly counting the minutes by the time we got to the reef.
Absolutely. I was like, when is this gonna stop? But yes, and then the first day that we were out there, there was 4 total dives. So we got there by like 11ish a.m. and then it was like right into the first dive. We did four dives total, so it was like 11, like 1 p.m., 4 p.m., and 7 p.m. And that was a lot. And by the end of it, because we're still like new divers, I am still kind of learning like how to equalize my ears really well, because I've had issues with that in the past. And by the end of it, my ears were already like bothering me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be able to make it through this trip. Like I still felt seasick. All of the stuff that was just like culminating, and then the next morning I was just like, I cannot do this. And I like totally had a mental breakdown about it. It was a rough day.
Bless her heart, she really wants to try to make everything perfect, and you know, this was a big trip for us because this was something that like I've wanted to do for years. You know, this has been a dream of mine, you know, wanting to see the Great Barrier Reef, you know, before it's completely gone and desolate. So this was something that she kind of like joined on and you know, kind of adopted, and it became a goal of hers too. So I'm really glad that, you know, she was able to come with us, and I really enjoyed our time out here. But I think that also put a lot of pressure on her because she felt like she had to do it all, you know, had to do every dive, had to enjoy it. You know, there was all these other things that were kind of like going into it that kind of made her feel worse, maybe. And
Yeah.
I think we finally got through that, and she realized like I just wanted to be with her, and just having her out there on the boat, and even if she didn't do every dive, was still amazing. It was still a great time.
Yeah, it was. I just kind of needed my mental breakdown. And then we moved past it. It was much better. But yeah, so then I skipped both morning dives, just because I was like, I'm gonna give myself a little bit extra time to rest in the morning and like not push it. I wasn't sure how my ears were gonna be able to handle it. But so then the second day we did 3 more dives, and then the third day I skipped the morning one, and it was 2 more, and then we headed back. And luckily on the way back, the water was a lot more calm, and so like I didn't even honestly feel sick on the way back, which was good. But yeah, it was honestly a really good experience. Like if you had asked me, would I do this again on the first day, I would have said absolutely not. I was like, get me off this boat. I don't know if I'm gonna make it another 2 days that it's gonna take to like get back to the land, like all that kind of stuff. But then like by the second day, after I kind of just like calmed down a little bit, and I think like taking the seasick medication like made a huge difference for me, because like my body was able to like grow accustomed to the rocking and all that kind of stuff. But like by the second day, like I started to really kind of like calm down and ease into it, and by the third day I was just like, this is amazing. Like I really relaxed into the diving process, and I was able to see so many more things, and I was like, oh, look at that, look at that. I'm like seeing all these things down there instead of like focusing so much on like making sure my ears are equalized, like making sure everything's good on my dive computer, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would definitely do it again now that, you know, I've been through it. I know what to expect going into it. It was a really amazing experience, and you're only gonna see like those type of things if you have an experience like that, you know.
So that was a couple of days. You know, we did that for 2.5 days, and then we came back, and now we're in our new place of staying, which is in Karunda. No, not Karunda. Camarunga. But it's a really amazing place. It's in the forest. There's still a lot of wildlife around. There's some bush turkeys that are just kind of constantly milling around the complex here. This has just been a ton of fun being up in this area. It's very tropical. It's very warm. It's very comfortable. You know, it hasn't really rained since we got back. The rain kind of moved off, so it's just kind of their normal like cool season. But it's been a lot of fun to just kind of spend some time here and enjoy the environment and the scenery and the wildlife and just everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, obviously in the summer there's more mosquitoes and all that kind of stuff, but right now there's like pretty much no bugs. And so we just have the screens up and we're enjoying like the fresh open air. I will say it's like a tad creepy at night, so just be aware of that if you ever want to book here. But this is like super cute and comfortable during the day. I love that there's so much natural light and, you know, being out kind of like connected with the nature. And that's really why we chose like the past 2 Airbnbs that we did. I was like, this looks gorgeous. Like we're gonna be in like the rainforest, immersed in it, and truly we were, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Hearing all the birds and stuff like that, and clearly our neighbors coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are going to just chill out for our last day here, probably go play some mini golf and walk around Cairns just a little bit more. And this is where we're gonna leave you guys. So thank you for joining us for our honeymoon. Be sure to keep a lookout for my next video. I am gonna go into detail about how we planned this entire trip in our Notion page. It's our little shared Notion page, so Sean does use it as well as I. So we're going to, well, I'm going to at least take you through the tour of that, show you, you know, how we did it all, and, you know, kept all of our bookings and information for flights and all that kind of stuff. And even just finding places that we wanted to go eat at and all that kind of stuff. We kept it all in Notion, and it kept it very organized for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it made this trip so much easier. I mean, we did a lot of planning and a lot of like structure ahead of time so that we could just enjoy it. You know, we built in days like today where we're just like, yeah, you know, we don't have necessarily anything to do. But, you know, there were some days we had activities, we got to be here at a certain time, that sort of thing. But it was very easy in Notion to have all that in there. Keep it all organized. You can segment it out, you know, based on location or days. You know, there's so many different ways you can organize things. And having that as a resource was just incredible and made it so much more enjoyable, you know, rather than spending,
I actually liked it.
you know, an hour of, you know, the general back and forth about, well, I'm hungry. Well, okay, well, what do you want to eat? Well, I don't know. Well, what do you want to eat? You know, okay, well, we have a list of like 7 places already. So.
At first I was like, Sean, you have to put this in the Notion. Like, go to the Notion. It's in the Notion. And then like by the end of it, Sean was like in the Notion himself, looking for all this stuff. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. So be sure to tune in for that. I'll be doing that very shortly. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys. You just okay?
I did.